So we're in a series about the existence of God, and it's so tempting for me to just jump into what I think is really good evidence for God, but that might be unhelpful if we don't agree on what counts as good evidence. So in this video, I'm going to try to help us clearly define our terms so that we can agree on what counts as evidence for God if it exists. Hey, I'm Matt, and this is Truth Snack, my channel where I try to help Christians believe with confidence by answering tough questions and exploring the Christian worldview. So one definition of evidence that I found said that evidence is the available facts or information indicating whether a belief or proposition is true or valid. I think that is a helpful definition, but it might be a little bit clearer if I show how it directly connects to our topic. So let's just input the proposition that we're discussing. Evidence for God is the available body of facts or information indicating that God exists. Or put another way, and I think a little more simply, the facts of reality indicating that God exists. So if the best explanation of reality being the way it is that God exists, then I think that that's evidence for God. Or if reality could not have been the way that it is unless God exists, then I think that that's really good evidence for God. And remember that saying that there's evidence for something doesn't mean that it's necessarily true. Think of a criminal trial where both sides present their best evidence. So to say that there's no evidence for God means that there can be absolutely no facts of reality that even indicate that God could exist. And to me, that standard just seems way too strict to stick by. Because I think that the arguments that we'll discuss in this series fit the criteria of evidence. They point to a certain aspect of reality and argue that the best or only explanation of that aspect is that God exists. And they often do so with deductive reasoning, which need to have certain logical forms to be valid. And those forms can be expressed in lots of different ways with symbols, but those same forms can be found implicit within the premises of an argument. And when an argument has a valid form and the premises are true, then the conclusion is necessarily true. It's actually unavoidable. It's important to point out that I still haven't given a single shred of evidence that God exists, but hopefully now we can agree that showing that the facts of reality indicate that God exists using deductive reasoning, that would be good evidence for God. But the question remains, does that kind of evidence even exist? Watch the next video in the series right here to find out.